Alright guys, we're back. We're going to do rear speakers today. I've got a 2012 Hilux, although this will suit 2005 to I think 2015 early. Any N70 Hilux, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, petrol, diesel, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you haven't seen my video for the front speaker install, check it out. I used all the original parts and everything. The rear is going to be a bit difficult today because there's nothing in the rear on my Workmate model. I had to go pick up some parts. I had a mate gift me these speakers, so we're just going to chuck these in once again, sort of three ways this time, 6.5 inch or 16 centimeters, and we can get some adapter plates. I got these from Autobahn. That's your part number right there. They were, can't remember, no more than 25 bucks. We've got some wire, some matting here as well, some screws. All right, let's get it. First things first, got to get the rear door panel off. There's a screw up in here. There's another one down in here. I've already just pre-removed them, so I'll just get that out of the way. Next one, pop back, I've got this window winder here. There's a little trick here to get this clip out. You're going to want to get yourself a rag, and you're going to want to come in from this angle here. Just start it between the actual white disc and the top. Work your way around. Just kind of jimmy it backwards and forwards. Like I said, they can come springing out quickly. Luckily I found that one. And you can just pry from the bottom, or you can even pull from here. It's got a couple of clips, make sure you take it gently, lift the door off, and door is off. All right, I've just used a little blade here to cut out that. Got our adapter. There's already a hole here, so I'm just going to try to reuse that same hole. And just line that up there with that one. Make sure we're nice and even the whole way across. And then I'm just going to use a pen just to mark out where the next holes need to go. So one there, and we're going to put one in here as well. All right, now that they're marked, we're just going to drill them to whatever size you're going to use to mount it. I'm going to use pop rivets for this. Now I've checked that my window comes down. It's not going to hit anything in here. It comes off about maybe 2.5 inches. 50 mil, maybe a bit more, but you definitely don't want to have anything too long that's going to hit that window, so just keep that in mind when you're installing it. All right, so we've got our holes drilled. Next thing, before we mount that bracket, we are going to, had a bit of this just foam matting laying around. You could use foam tape. This is just going to be on the outside just for a bit of muffling and just stop any rattle. So I'm just going to trace around that and get a nice little ring for our actual speaker mount, and then we're going to mount that speaker into here before we put it into the door. Speakers all mounted now. I had to get some shorter screws because they did come all the way through the bottom of this adapter and were fouling on the door here. The next part before we mount that speaker is we're going to have to want to run our cabling from the B pillar here down into the door. Now on the SR5s, you already have a little wire grommet. Someone can get back to me on how easy to feed wire through that. I don't know. For us, we're going to have to make something up. I've just got some conduit here, so I'm just going to put a small hole in here. I don't know if you can see it in there, just in there we're going to have to put another small hole, and this panel here just comes off for now. There's a little tab here, you can kind of just open that, and we're going to gain access through there to that hole down here to get our speaker wired in. So I'm just using a drill bit here. You can kind of get it through just there. You can see where it starts to line up just in there. And I'm just kind of slowly working that backwards and forwards. You don't actually want to take this thing out. There we go, drill bits through. Just want enough to get the conduit through. All right, so I've just got a little bit of conduit here. It's probably about 180 mil. I fed the wire through here, found it through here and pulled that through. I found that to be the easiest. And then I'm just going to tuck that bit of wire down into there and squeeze that conduit in a little bit. And then I'm just going to tuck that bit of conduit back into the other one over there as well. So that's what it looks like from this side here. There's a fair bit in that side and a fair bit in that side. It's kind of what I wanted, just to give it a little bit of extra flex if it needs to, but that seems to be pretty happy where it is there. All right guys, so I've just joined the ends of these into my wiring now. I'm just going to wrap that in some electrical tape, make sure it's all nice and safe and secure. Then we can go ahead and plug these into the speaker, mount the speaker, and run the wiring. Alright, speakers mounted nicely. I did have to put a little washer on this bottom one just because that was a bit of a bigger hole for the pop rivet. I know you can get wider pop rivets, this didn't have any, didn't want to drive to Bunnings, but that's mounted in securely now. Wiring's in place. We're going to run the wiring. We're going to run it properly. So we've got this panel off already here. We're going to want to take off this panel here. Just pulls up straight away. And we're just going to run it through this conduit line that's already here and run it up in behind here to the back of the dash, and I'll show you how we wire it into the back of the dash once I've got the wiring through. Alright guys, now depending on what dash you've got, if you've got the old school dash in behind there, you'll have to take out, there's about 4 bolts in behind that. You just pull some of the fascia off and you can get to those 4 bolts and then pull it out. I'll throw up a wiring diagram. I'll put up my previous video and that should be able to link it up for the back. I obviously have an aftermarket head unit, so we're just going to pull that down, find the wiring in behind there and hook it all up. Alright guys, so I've just got my wiring up into here. I had a quick look through my wiring diagram that came with this aftermarket head unit. So green solid and green black is for rear left, and you've got purple over here, either purple black or purple white for negative, and straight purple for positive is going to be for the right hand side. So I've just put some clips in there so they can be undone. If you want to wire them together and twist them, that's your choice. I would never do it, so at least I can disconnect it here if I need to pull this out easily. And it's going to be the, like I said, purple over here for this side, but I'll throw up that wiring diagram and it's done. Alright, that's all done now. Right hand side's finished. Everything's installed. The sound quality is phenomenal. I can't seem to record while I'm actually playing music, which is a bit annoying. I don't know how I did that on my first video. I'll put a link down below for that as well. That's how to do speakers in the front of your Hilux. I'm going to try to do a little bit more content on what I'm installing here. Just whatever I can't find, I'll put up a video. If you like what you're watching and what you've seen, hit a like, give us a follow, whatever it is, and I'll keep them coming. Thanks for watching.